Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Dietitian Life, where we tell you about our week. So,
Exciting stuff. We just announced the winner of the scholarship.
we did. Who was the winner?
Luca Giorgio!
So you've probably seen a couple of posts now. I think the media crew is posting something as we speak about the winner and hope to, send her the dollars.
And for those that obviously didn't win, we will be providing work experience for three
runners-up plus Luca, so
Yep.
4 opportunities.
So watch that inbox because we'll be letting you know by the end of today.
But not saying that the other people won't have opportunities, just you won't be first. As well as that, so this week, what have you done?
So big thing for me was getting the word out about our conference. So that is right. No, you cannot come. Feel Your Life is doing their own.
It's our company.
Yeah.
It's not Feel Your Life.
Well, the company, okay. The company is doing our own conference, pretty much trying to give our staff an opportunity to be part of something that is their own and present on maybe their research that they've done at uni or a topic of interest that they would like to share. So that is coming up in about a month's time.
So it's 4 hours doing 15-minute rapid fire sessions.
And we're going to
with
make
5
it
minutes of
accessible
questions
as well,
Yep.
so people can actually use it. And
For
as
DAA.
as a normal conference would be structured, people that attend to get more from it, so get the content, the recordings and whatnot. For those that can't or won't, then that is something that is being missed out on. But I think it's a good opportunity for people to feel more confident in that setting as well. A lot of us don't get the opportunity to speak once we graduate uni. Obviously that environment is very intense and can be really overwhelming for a lot of people, and then make you feel like you're not a good presenter or you get really nervous. It's not something that's going to be accessible, and I think as dietitians we need to feel more confident to be able to talk and talk about what we know and what we do in those environments more often. I know when I was at uni, terrible when it came to public speaking. I didn't want to be a part of it. I looked like I didn't care or enjoy the things that I was talking about.
You know why?
Yeah, because I have this tendency to have a good face, like this face, this beautiful face. I was never one of those lucky people. I was never one of these people that got the stress rush. That was never an issue for me. But I just go into my own being, and there was no light, there was no character, and that obviously transcended to the listeners.
I get a little croak, like when I'm super nervous.
Oh yeah.
A little like, ooh.
And you can guarantee that everybody, irrespective of whether they come across in person as being very exuberant and outgoing, that they're not going to like public speaking. So how did I overcome that? I decided I was just going to do it more and do it often. And I found that it was really easy to talk about dietetics and nutrition than other things. So over my time, I've also jumped upon other opportunities, like being on the board of something,
What are you on the board of?
You'll laugh. So I was the president of my bicycle association back in Wagga.
I knew that.
So I used that as an opportunity to, and you do it as well too, to be a leader, have those conversations, take the ropes and make yourself known. I took up every opportunity to talk to the media as well, locally, on paper, in print, video. All the time I stuck my hand up, and whilst I'm sure the first few were terrible, they did get better. So,
just like these videos.
Yeah. And this is obviously another medium as well, and probably I wouldn't have put my hand up for it if I hadn't have done the many years worth of putting my hand up and getting my face in front of the camera, looking, listening to how you speak as well makes a big difference. So I think any opportunity like that to present to your peers, where one, you're not being critiqued anymore, and it's a good captive audience where you're talking about something you're 100% passionate and confident in, I think is a really good opportunity.
And it's 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Cash.
Totes cash.
If you're getting up there and doing an hour, then I can understand a little bit of stress. But if you know your subject, you should be sweet. So hopefully none of the people even though it's a virtual conference, so everyone's kind of zooming in.
Oh, not everybody. So we are offering it as a in location for those in Queensland as well. So that I think is going to be pretty cool.
But yeah, hopefully no one's using palm cards and reading off slides. I think people will still kind of do it, but it's just an opportunity for professional development, not from the point of just learning, but also actually doing. So I guess that's what we're doing, because not everyone's going to get the opportunity to present at a conference ever, and it gives them a first kind of entry level into that. And then maybe next year we'll look at opening it up to some special lifers or other followers that want to come along. I think this year, as we're talking about it, I might even invite some of the scholarship people, depending on how we go. So maybe.
Yeah, so that's something that we had spoken about, and now it's coming into fruition, which is really, really good. Tyson and I did video, Facebook Live video again this week, just to get you all excited about the scholarship announcement, plus some additional videos as well, so stay tuned for those. I met with a dietitian this week. We are trying to get someone into pretty much over the line for our Central Coast position as well too.
So you mean you interviewed?
No, I interviewed last week, you interviewed this week. So that has been happening. I've been doing a lot of research.
Getting over the line for Central Coast then? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You talked to a dietitian about getting a dietitian over the line?
No, I spoke to another dietitian who wanted to come and meet with me, and then I was saying that we're trying to get the Central Coast position over the line as well.
Oh, so there's two different stories in one sentence.
That's right, stealing your thunder.
Two stories in one sentence. That made no sense.
I hit up a number of people on Instagram this week, asking them what they are doing these days when it comes to resources as well, because I spent a little bit of time this week adjusting and modifying some of our company-wide resources that I will be using for something pretty cool coming up. So I modified a labour reading resource, I modified a protein carbohydrate one, I put some plans around a VLED resource as well to get one of our staff members to do.
You edited a labour reading one. Is it good?
I tailored it to what I want it to be like.
So, she didn't actually answer that question. Did you say that? Was it good?
Yeah, of course it's good.
That was so confident.
I edited a shopping list one as well. So, and then tried to plan out a few more that I wanted and created some of that. So dictated some of that to somebody else in the company. So one around general sports, body comp manipulation resource as well, which we've kind of got. No. I asked people within the company about it, and they gave me some that they've previously used, and then I have asked our resource leader to deal with that and try and create a resource that is going to be workable for me and other people within the company as well.
Yeah, just for me, getting people to work for me.
Well, that's what I do. I navigate and give out tasks to other people to try and give them some work and create some additional stuff. So that's cool. And then
as usual, Peter's reading this. That's what she's reading when she looks down every time.
And then on top of that, we finally got some clinics pretty much over the line. So one of them was
for 3 weeks.
Yeah, so then the contract's signed, the date's been set. One of those clinics is going to start. No, so for one of the dietitians have that. So that's really exciting. So she's set to start in the next couple of weeks. And then we do have another contract which should be in my inbox today, and then just sorted out a date for start date for them as well too. So that's pretty cool. And then clients, yeah, all day today. Been going pretty well actually. Nailing some weight loss as per usual.
Nailing weight loss with clients?
Yeah.
What's your number one thing you do with clients to help them lose weight? I've got a great answer. Go.
Reduce the kilojoule content of their diet. So based on their personal preference. So one of note. No. But definitely one person said to me, not today, but previous to that, is that you're the best dietitian I've seen because you haven't got me to try and eat vegetables. Because ultimately the goal is weight loss. It's not about nutrition. We can work on that, and that can be never fix a thing. But yeah.
That just went boom in a lot of your heads. You're just like, what? What do you mean don't care about vegetables? So think about the actual goal that the client wants to achieve, not what you want to achieve, and then help them do that. Pretty much, private practice life.
Yeah.
So me, this week, so a lot of the stuff we were talking about, like was picking the scholarship holder, had a meeting with admin. So there's been, because we're such a big company now, there's new stuff that changes all the time, and the communication between managers and admin and practitioners and admin can sometimes get lost because we've got admin staff that work on different days and they've got their own schedules with uni and stuff like that. So the communication wasn't really working. What you tell one person won't necessarily filter, and at the same time, one manager might say exactly what needs to be done, whereas another manager may say something different, and then they get confused.
So did we have a strategy for how that might actually be fixed?
Yeah, well, if you let me continue talking, then why do you have she has a prop to hit me today. She has a prop to hit me. And if I had a prop, the world would like go nuts if I had a prop to hit a female on camera. But no, it's okay.
It in.
So basically our strategy around helping it, we're going to implement a project management tool. It's been for months now. I've asked them to kind of look and pick one that they would like, and they finally picked one and they've implemented it, and they're saying that it's going better, but we'll just review it every week for the next month. And then I also implemented 15-minute kind of kickstart meetings on Monday mornings where they all get together and talk about what's going on, what happened the last week, and get on the same page and where they're going to move forward into that week. So they're all on the same page constantly. As well as that, there was a lot of confusion around our practice management or documentation. So we use cloud-based software. So some people were creating files that we already had files for. There was duplicates of shit. So some were getting updated, other ones were sitting there, and some people were using the old ones. So it's just chaos, and using a cloud is good, but it still creates similar issues to what it is even in a filing cabinet, because you'll find one document before the others if you're looking in a different way, and people just don't delete it adequately. Like I remember last year I spent probably 2 weeks just going through OneDrive and deleting and fixing.
I was going to say, so how does that work within your OCD brain, Tyson?
Yeah, terribly.
What about other dietitians? Do you feel the pain? Do you feel the crazy somebody else who obviously, or other staff members that might not be on the same page as you, doesn't like things organised or hazardous process driven? What do you do to actually deal with that?
Oh, I hate it.
Have a mental breakdown?
I see people like naming it differently, and that just infuriates me. It's just like, why are you doing like that? Why is it named that? That's not even what the resource is. Why have you put the date in long form in the name of the document? There's a date that it gets updated that's on the file already. Why are you doing that? There's so many little things that annoy me, but that's okay because I just let that go. But then when it becomes you can't actually find the file, or say a resource for a client is in a admin folder instead of a resources for clients folder, then it's just like, what the hell are you doing? I care about that stuff. Peter maybe doesn't care about that as much, but come on, tell me you care about it as much as me.
I care about the stuff being in there, being relevant and useful. Otherwise, get rid of it. I go in there and delete shit all the time. You wouldn't know that, but I do. Because
you probably delete stuff that we needed.
Nah, guaranteed. I wouldn't delete something that wasn't needed. That's for sure. It bothers me but the actual organisation of it. This is my life. This is crazy all over, and none of it's crossed out, even though I've achieved all of it. Let's compare the pair. See the crosses? Who cares? I know I've done it.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I did that. Also talked to organisations about updating our locations. So we've got a few organisations we work with that are nationwide, and we are nationwide as well. So we're just updating our locations with our new practitioners and things of that nature. Updating education, nutrition with our new staff as well, so they can update subscriptions, because every person on our company gets a subscription. As well as that, I've organised Shane Jeffrey to do a special motivational interview and behavioural change workshop for our dietitians this month. Big cost to the company, but one that will allow us to get it through virtual means, and people that will never have an opportunity to see Shane Jeffrey talk, they'll get to. And if you don't know who that is, Google the guy. He knows his shit.
There's not that many male dietitians really, so you should know who this person is.
Yeah, Shane Jeffrey. If you don't, learn it. Know him.
Have you done motivational interviewing workshops before?
Yeah, like when I was very new grad, and then Education Nutrition did one early on. I did that as well.
Useful?
I think some of it just comes to you as a human being and how you communicate with people. I didn't find it was very much different to how I communicate in general with clients. I think there's certain strategies that some people will take and they'll just do that exact strategy. I tend to be from the same vein as you, I think, in that we take little bits that we want and then manipulate it to utilise it effectively as to how we work.
So what would be the purpose of a motivational interviewing workshop if that's the outcome?
So people know. So a lot of the thing with professional development, especially stuff like motivational interviewing, Peter and I think, I guess, the same about it is that people think it's going to save everything, going to create the answers that you need. But a lot of time, it's still around how you conduct the consultation and the communication that you have.
And it's still around reading your client.
Yeah, and all the strategies in the world won't allow you to do that effectively. That becomes with experience or just you as a person. Some people have it, some people don't. That's unfortunately how it is. You'll have different levels of talent based on that. But having strategies for those who struggle with that will obviously assist you with having those conversations if you don't usually feel comfortable, because dietitians being very having a structure or a strategy that they know they're following, they feel like they're doing the right thing even though it might not be working completely the way they want. So I guess dietitians in general always struggle with the fact that, oh, clients aren't doing what I say. So they think, oh, I'm going to do a motivational interviewing course, that'll help me, that'll be a saving grace. Sometimes, yeah, it might. Other times it might confirm that what you're doing is actually right, and other times you just won't. I don't know.
So I think what might be valuable is getting somebody who you respect or just a different opinion to come in and sit in with the client if that works, to give you some feedback on how that whole conversation or consult might be going. That's one option.
I'd make it a good practitioner.
Yeah. I said that.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
You said someone you respect.
Well, yeah, but also obviously that has maybe a few more years of experience than you do as well.
Yeah, but then actually gets results with clients or is confident with a certain client group. Because we talked about it before that experience doesn't necessarily mean good.
Okay, next.
Right? No? Is that not right?
Oh, yes.
And I've also done interviews for, even though Peter tried to steal thunder, I did the secondary interviews for 2 practitioners for the Central Coast position. Haven't spoken to Peter yet about choices.
To come later.
Yeah, to come. But we've got to have a discussion about that after we finish this video and figure it out, because it's something we need to make a decision on relatively soon. It's not integral, but relatively soon. We also launched expression of interest for our Melbourne positions. So across Melbourne, we're just looking for people that have an interest in working with the company and working in those areas. So if you are keen, if you graduated mid-year, end of last year, or even if you're going to graduate at the end of the year, put an expression of interest in. It's up on the DA website now. It'll be in the Dietitian Life Lifers closed group. So if you're not a member of that, check that out. So dietitianlife.com.au/lifers, LIFERS, and you can join our Facebook group, and then we'll be updating that with jobs and things of that nature. Other than that, I spoke to a dietitian. This is going to be a weird conversation because I'm not actually going to say a lot.
Same as mine. I met another dietitian this week as well too. And why? Why do people want to come and talk to us?
Because we know our shit.
Sometimes it's just good to have the conversation, bounce it off and make connections. But what was your conversation about? Yeah,
so my conversation was about a new avenue of dietetics that I feel is not happening out there at the moment on different platforms. So it's about creating a new opportunity, a new realm that no other dietitians are doing. So even with the conversation that I was having, like I came up with a couple of extra ideas to improve it. It's just about figuring out how that's going to work, what it's going to look like, creating a good kind of framework around how it will be achieved, and then starting and learning from it. I think that's the same with any idea that you have. You need to do some good planning initially, but not so much that you just become stuck. You still at some stage got to just try it, test it, learn from it, then go again, or just go, yeah, no, that's not going to work, and close up shop. Like, you can't be afraid of moving forward or finishing something. Otherwise, you'll constantly be just circling for days and not get anywhere. So, top tip. Other than that, I don't know. I think last week I didn't talk about it much. I wanted to talk about respecting experience. So, like, you're talking about practitioners that, like, respect the experience, and I said experience doesn't necessarily mean that they're good, but at some level they still have more experience than you, so they've likely gone through a similar transition that you have, or they've been a new grad prior. They know generally how it is. So if they're helping you with a certain task, whether it be something that's as medial as doing your notes, or if it's actually how you can conduct a consult, or it's how quick a consult can be done, or how much info to give, it's respecting that they may know more. And again, with that test and learn thing, trying what they say out before you say nah. Like, actually respecting that is really important. Like, give it a go before you go nah.
The other is asking for advice and then not taking the advice on board, which is super frustrating. Or once you've asked and they give you an answer, you just kind of exactly what Tyson said, just don't even do it. Because it doesn't suit your client, you don't think it's going to work, blah, blah, blah.
Or you just personally don't want to do it because you think, oh no, it doesn't fit in with what I want to do. And like, all that's well and good, but don't ask if you don't want to have, an answer, I guess. And if you haven't tried it and you're still going to do the same thing, like, nothing's going to change. Like, if you had an issue and you sought feedback for it, or you sought an answer for it and they gave you an answer and you're like, no, I'm not going to use that answer, but then you still don't change, then you're going nowhere. So respecting that feedback and respecting that experience is really important. Otherwise, the next time you ask for it, they're not going to be wanting to give you the feedback, because they're like, well, I've already told you the answer to that question. Why haven't you done that? Or you didn't, I don't want to help you anymore because you didn't. And that can be for people that work, if you work for someone, or it could be just if you're looking for work experience, or you're just seeking feedback. If you're not actually following through with it, we know. The person that you've asked knows. So just be careful about that. So if you are seeking feedback, if you are seeking kind of to improve your skills, actually respect the person that you're actually, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Like,
the other, I suppose, is that whole experience thing is literally just a time factor. Whether it's in dietetics, whether it's in concrete laying, for example, just because you come out with the same level of base knowledge, time does grant experience. And yes, it may not be valuable or quality experience, but also that time does get you that experience. So it might be that you've seen 20 clients for weight loss compared to you've seen 200 clients for weight loss, for example. Yes, all right, you may not be the best practitioner, but you've got more experience because you've been doing it for longer. So it's appreciating that actually does take time. So say, for example, I speak to new graduates or people that have been out for only a year or two, and they say that they don't have the experience, or they actually are experienced because, I've done the low FODMAP thing now. I love gut health. I'm good at gut health because I've done the low FODMAP. But does doing something actually grant experience? No, it actually literally is just time. And I think because we all want to be amazing really early, and obviously that was something that drove you as well, but even still, your experience throughout that time process is part of the experience. I know it kind of sounds a bit vague, but it's
like
appreciating that.
Like, as an example, my meal plans when I first came out, I remember them. They were shit. They were shit. They still got results, but they were shit.
My letters, my consult, my note taking, my writing, and all that is completely different to what it is now. So, and that's all learned experience. I didn't have the opportunity.
It's kind of like relearning as well, because uni kind of teach you one way, but then in the real environment, it's just like going from a research environment to an actual sporting research in the lab versus lab
for sure. And it's having
40
that
degree heat.
real life comparison and that real life experience. So say, for example, in private practice, we know that there'll be a natural dip in referrals at different points throughout the year. And as a new graduate or someone that's only new to private practice, be freaking out, what have I done? What do I need to do? But yes, okay, all those things are valuable, but we know that it will actually change and pick up. We know that care plans, generally around that sort of 7th, 8th month in the year, people have likely expended all of their visits and stuff like that. So we know that with someone with weight loss of this condition or whatever is likely not going to follow this trajectory. So it's just the numbers, the time that actually foresees that experience and then gives you recommendations and put planning in place because of that.
And that goes the same with clients as well. It's like knowing when generally they'll hit a wall at this point because of this. So I need to make sure that I'm doing this prior to that to ensure that that wall doesn't happen. So that's all learning and stuff that uni cannot teach you, and no one can really teach you other than doing it. And yes, someone with 5 years experience is not necessarily the same as another person with 5 years experience, but they've still got experience. So I think it's just, if you're going to ask someone, if we go back to the actual cause of this, if you're going to ask someone for feedback on a certain client or a client group, make sure that that person, 1, has more experience than you with that client group in that particular area, and 2, will give you honest feedback, but 3, actually do it. Like, try it. Do not ask for feedback from someone who's got qualified experience, and then just don't do it, because you're not going to end up in a good space. So that's the end of that.
That's the end of Dietitian Life for this week.
I'll probably just say it's pretty close to the end, but I just want to give a shout out to, there's one student in particular, his name's Tom, who's been absolutely smashing it at the moment. He just hit us up for work experience a few weeks ago, and everything's like, yep, and he is doing everything, and that's the kind of person.
And some might say, hey, that's too much, but the conversation was brought up yesterday. I was like, no, don't discourage that. That's amazing. We want more. So, so it's not unrecognised.
So I guess for any students out there that are doing work experience, it does get noticed whether you're slow, whether you don't get back to people, or whether you're nailing it and
grateful.
And doing everything and just asking for more and just wanting to learn. Because, like, honestly, right now, like, if he graduated at the end of this year, I'd hire him just based on that work ethic. So I think knowing that as a student, getting work experience is really important. So why Peter's going to hit me for no reason whatsoever.
Prop life.
See, like, there's no reason to hit me though. Like, that's weird.
Okay,
anyway, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Remember to join the Lifers closed group, and talk soon.